I'm Dave Ford, and in this screencast I'm going to show how using a template we can very quickly and easily in Moodle create a two-circle Venn diagram activity. So this is where we're going to get students to categorize information into a Venn diagram. Now here is the template that we can use, and the idea is we've got these two circles which overlap, and we will label both the left and the right circles, and then we'll have some markers that the students have to drag into the correct parts within that diagram. Now obviously that's very useful if you're teaching maths, but it's also useful for other subjects. Just categorizing information is a very good way of students understanding and reinforcing the information. So the way it would work, first of all, we'll start off in Moodle, and within your question bank, you have to create a new question. Now the question type that we're using is called drag and drop markers. If it doesn't appear in the list, you'll need to contact your Moodle administrator and ask them to add that particular activity type. And you would then click on add, and it would create a new question for you. Now to save time, I've already started populating one. So I've given the question a name. In this case, I'm doing properties of chemicals. I've then got the text, which will be the instructions for the learners. So I've got 5 different chemicals, and they're going to identify if they are liquid at room temperature, flammable, if they're both or neither, and they're going to use the Venn diagram to do that. So what we're going to do now is we'll just scroll down, and you'll notice that it says preview and background image, and this is where you put the image in, the image of the Venn diagram. Now, the purpose of the template is it's all set up to the right size to make this very easy for you. So you open the template, and this is in PowerPoint, and we have the ability to edit the information, but what you mustn't do is move the circles. The circles have to stay in exactly the same position, otherwise the alignment will be incorrect. So my 2 circles are going to be liquid at room temperature, and then I can move this title around and I can do whatever formatting I want, and as long as I don't move the circles, I'll be okay. And then my other circle is flammable. Now I've got here a label for both. I don't need that one. That's just there for people who aren't familiar with how Venn diagrams work. And then I've got a title. So I can move things around. I can change the colors of things. If I wanted to make that red, for example, I could do, make it bold, make it bigger. I can change those sorts of things quite easily, but what I mustn't do is move the circles. I could recolor them if I wanted different colors, but I must not move them. Now, once I'm happy with how that looks, what I'm going to do is we're going to save that as a picture. So I first of all save it in PowerPoint. I'm then going to go File and Save As, and we're going to change it to a PNG, which is a type of picture. I'm then going to give it a name. So I'm going to call mine two circle Venn diagram activity and save. Now it will ask me, do I want to save all the slides or just this one? I just want that one slide out of the presentation. And what I've now got is there is my image as an image in my folder. So I'm going to go back to Moodle, and where it says background image and choose file, I can either click on that or I can just drag and drop, in my case, that image into that position. And what you should see is it then appears in this Moodle editor. Now you then come down to the markers section and you add the information that you want to be your markers, the things that are going to get dragged. Now I've already done that just to save time. I'm going to tick the box so that they shuffle, so they appear in different positions at the start. And I only want one of each, so I'm setting them all to 1. And you can have as many markers as you like. If you want more than 6, you can just click on blanks for 3 more and keep doing that until you get the number that you need. So what we now need to do is identify the drop zones. So the coordinates on the diagram above, where if they drop the markers, will be correct. Now, for each of the markers, we're going to use a polygon as the shape. So I'm just going to identify 5 drop zones, and I'm going to select 5 polygons. I'm then going to choose a marker for each drop zone. So I've got my 5 markers. I'm just going to put 1 into each box. Now, what we have to do in this box here is add in the coordinates for the successful shape. And this is where the PowerPoint template is key, because I've given the coordinates for you to make it a lot easier. So my first one was carbon dioxide. Now, carbon dioxide doesn't fit into either of the circles. It's not liquid at room temperature and it's not flammable. So it will be somewhere on the outside of the diagram. So if I look at the notes section within my PowerPoint slide, I can see that I've got the coordinates for the neither. So what I need to do is highlight and copy those. And then I just paste those coordinates into that drop zone box. And if I scroll back up, you will see that it's kind of shaded it in. It's not overly obvious because it's kind of in the middle of the whole area. My next one is ethanol. Ethanol is flammable and is liquid at room temperature. So that's going to be both. So I copy the coordinates for the both item and I paste them into that box. My third one is for mercury. Well, mercury is a liquid, but it isn't flammable. So that's going to be just the left-hand circle. So I copy those coordinates. And stearic acid is solid, so it's not liquid, and it is flammable. So it'll be the right circle. And then finally, water is liquid, but it's not flammable. So I can copy the coordinates for the left circle into there. Now you can add your feedback in. You've got the combined feedback at the bottom. You've got some general feedback at the top. I'm not doing that in this demonstration just for speed while I'm doing the video. But if I do save changes, and then we have a look at how it will behave. So we've got my instructions at the top. We have my diagram. And these are the things that are going to be dragged. So we'll just check it works. So ethanol will go into both. Stearic acid should be on the right. Water should be on the left, as is mercury, and then carbon dioxide somewhere on the outside. So I'll submit and finish, and hopefully it will tell me that they are all correct because they've all been put in the right place. So by using the PowerPoint template, it makes it very easy to create the diagram, and it also gives us the coordinates for the successful drop zones. The key is when you're creating the image not to move the position of the circles, because if you do that, the coordinates will then not line up and it won't work as an example. So in this case, in a matter of about 8 minutes, I've managed to create a simple but quite powerful drag and drop activity where the students have to categorize against two categories which overlap.